Number 10. The northern bobwhite. This quail doesn't just sing, it literally says its own name. That whistle carries across open fields for almost a quarter mile. Generations of Texas kids grew up trying to whistle back at it, hoping a real bobwhite would answer. In winter, these birds gather into tight family groups called coveys, roosting in a circle with their tails pointed inward so they can burst outward in every direction if a predator gets too close. But that whistle is getting rarer every year. Since 1980, Texas bobwhite populations have declined by roughly 75%, mostly from the loss of the scrubby grassland habitat they depend on. For a lot of Texans, this call is turning into a memory instead of a soundtrack. Number 9. The chuck-will's widow. Like the bobwhite, this bird is literally named after its own call. It repeats that call over and over in total darkness, sometimes hundreds of times without stopping, because this bird is nocturnal and almost impossible to actually see. It's the largest nightjar in North America, with a mouth so enormous relative to its head that it can swallow small birds and bats whole while flying. By day, it presses flat against a tree limb or the leaf litter, and its mottled brown feathers make it disappear completely. Most Texans have heard it their entire lives without ever knowing what it looks like. Number 8. The common nighthawk. During the day, it just makes a nasal little peent. But during a courtship dive, it drops out of the sky at full speed, and right before pulling up, air rushes through its wing feathers and makes a deep boom, like someone blowing across the top of a glass bottle. That sound isn't vocal at all. It's made entirely by the wings. And despite the name, it isn't a hawk at all. It's actually related to the nightjars, the same family as the chuck-will's widow. This bird doesn't even bother building a nest. It just lays its eggs directly on bare gravel or open ground, then flies to Brazil for the winter, one of the longest migrations of any bird that breeds in Texas. Number 7. The canyon wren, found out in the rock canyons of West Texas and Big Bend. That cascading, descending song is famous among birders as one of the most beautiful sounds in North American nature, and the canyon walls actually work like a natural amplifier, bouncing the song for hundreds of feet. This bird didn't just adapt to its habitat, it found a way to use it as an instrument. It also forages like almost no other songbird, using its long, curved bill to probe deep into rock crevices for spiders and insects, climbing sheer canyon walls the way a nuthatch climbs a tree trunk. Unlike most of the birds on this list, it never migrates. The same canyon that raises it is the same canyon it dies in. Number 6. The Altamira oriole, the largest oriole in the U.S., and one found almost nowhere else in the country except the very southern tip of Texas along the Rio Grande. It builds the longest hanging nest of any North American bird, sometimes over 2 feet long, and mated pairs actually stay together year-round, calling back and forth to each other as they forage side by side. This bird wasn't even recorded in the United States until 1939, and the first confirmed nest wasn't found until over a decade later. Even today, biologists estimate fewer than 500 breeding pairs exist north of the border, all packed into a sliver of habitat along the river. If that habitat disappears, this bird's entire presence in the U.S. disappears with it. Number 5. The black-capped vireo. This one has a comeback story. It was on the U.S. endangered species list for more than 30 years. Its song is a rapid burst of scratchy, jumbled phrases. No two songs sound quite the same. And according to researchers, this bird draws from a repertoire roughly 10 times larger than other vireo species. When it was listed as endangered in 1987, there were only about 350 known individuals left, driven to the brink by overgrazing goats destroying its shrubby nesting habitat and by cowbirds sneaking their eggs into its nests. Thanks to habitat restoration in the hill country and decades of cowbird control, the species was removed from the endangered list in 2018, with the population now estimated above 14,000 birds. It's one of the few real conservation wins on this entire list. Number 4. The golden-cheeked warbler. This is the only bird species in the world that breeds nowhere except right here in the juniper hills of central Texas. Of the nearly 360 bird species that breed in Texas, this is the one and only species that nests exclusively within the state's borders. It builds its nest almost entirely out of shredded bark from one specific tree, the ash juniper. No juniper, no warbler. Every spring it returns from wintering grounds in southern Mexico and Central America to raise its young in these same wooded canyons, then leaves again by summer. In 2023, its portrait was even printed on a U.S. postage stamp honoring endangered species. But its entire global population depends on a strip of woodland that's shrinking every year as Austin and San Antonio keep expanding into the hill country. Number 3. The Carolina wren. It weighs about as much as 2 nickels, and it might be the loudest bird per ounce in North America. That song can be heard from a remarkable distance for a bird smaller than your fist. One captive male was once recorded singing nearly 3,000 times in a single day. And unlike most songbirds, it doesn't migrate. It sings that same loud song through the coldest Texas winters when almost every other bird has gone quiet. Pairs mate for life and defend the exact same patch of territory together year after year, which is part of why you can hear the same wren calling from your backyard hedge every single winter. Number 2. The painted bunting. Blue head, red chest, green back. No other North American songbird looks anything like it, which is why first-time birders often assume someone's pet parrot got loose. It's nicknamed the nonpareil, French for without equal, because nothing else in North America comes close to matching its color. It's so shy and secretive that even in areas where it's common, most people who live there have never seen one, despite it being arguably the most colorful bird in the entire country. That beauty came at a cost. For decades, painted buntings were illegally trapped and sold as caged birds because of their looks, a practice that pushed their population into decline before it was made illegal. Males are also fiercely territorial, and rival males have been known to fight to the death over a prime patch of shrubland. Number 1. The northern mockingbird, the official state bird of Texas. And here's the twist. About half of what you hear from this bird isn't technically its song. A single male can learn and repeat over 200 different songs and sounds across its lifetime. Other birds, frogs, even car alarms, and squeaky gates. It weaves those borrowed sounds together with its own original phrases into one long, ever-changing performance. And the older a male gets, the bigger that repertoire grows, which is believed to be exactly what females are listening for. Unmated males will sometimes sing all night long, non-stop, under a full moon, just to attract a mate. This bird's talent isn't a new discovery either. Thomas Jefferson famously kept pet mockingbirds in the White House, and one of them would perch on his shoulder and sing along while he played the violin. Out of every bird in Texas, this is the one state officials chose to represent the whole state's voice, because no other bird here has one that's more impossible to predict. That's Texas, ranked by sound. Which one surprised you the most? Drop the number in the comments. And if you want the next state ranked, subscribe, because we're doing all 50.